Hey Hubbers, so we just got a really nice shipment of Spydercos in and I thought why not make a quick top 5 video, and instead of just showing you the plain Jane versions I tried to grab some more interesting configurations that we have on hand. I want to emphasize that. There are definitely a ton of variations that you see maybe only once, and if I can include them all in this video I totally would, but for the moment I have what I have. These are all for sale at the time of recording. I'll put links in the description, so let's get started. Number 5 on the list belongs to the fantastic Para3. This is the only one I'm going to unbox for you. So this being at the bottom of the list is by no means an insult or a suggestion that the Para3 isn't great. It's a fantastic, fantastic knife that I personally carry sometimes myself. I will always have a soft spot for it because it is a perfect size, perfect pocket size, smooth, simple, fast knife. It can be operated easily with one hand due to the compression lock and Spidey hole, which you can open with your thumb. And if you don't know this already, well, welcome to the world of Spyderco. That's the Spidey flick, by the way, which you should totally learn to do if you have a Spyderco because it makes you a lot cooler of a person. This is an excellent, fun, fidgety knife, too. There's a really good variety of these available. And in regards to the function, you will be hard-pressed to find any Spyderco knife that doesn't absolutely cut the hell out of anything because these factory edges are brutal and very impressive. The Para3 has an optimal blade shape for piercing and cutting, and with just enough edge to deal with most tasks, this will handle anything. This one's a bit higher end with G10 and Maximet steel and goes for $213.50 on our site right now. Number 4 on this list belongs to the Spyderco Native. I can't really limit this slot to one specific native because personal preference leaves too much of a variety here to really single one of them out. But in my example, I have the Lil Native Slip It. This one's a slip joint, but just like the Urban, it's probably not going to close on you while you use it, and that's because Spyderco's Slip It, patented Slip It design is patented with the finger choil in mind, which prevents the blade from closing on you during use. It makes this knife a really fantastic choice for discreet EDC, or maybe a carry somewhere with restrictive laws, or a knife for situations where you don't want to draw attention. S30V steel here and G10 makes for a nice little combo. Get it? Anyway, I love the small Spydercos like this, and the Cat too. This is similar to the Cat. It's a really cool knife. But anyway, the entire Native line has so much to offer at a really good price. There's many variations on the Native, like a lot. Some with G10, some with FRN, some black blades, satin blades, serrations, plain edges, and super small knives like this, going all the way up to the 9-inch long Native Chief. I think that's the largest Native. They offer excellent ergonomics, good materials and machining, and they're super functional. This little Native here goes for $138.60 on the site. Number 3 on this list is a favorite of many people. It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that the Manix, specifically the Manix 2 XL, is here. So not just any Manix, it's the XL. Take a look at this chungus. However, it isn't super thick. The side profile shows that despite the length of this knife, the impressive length of this knife, it won't take up as much space in your pocket as you'd think. It's still by all means an awesome EDC if you like a big knife that makes a big statement. One that really means business. Black G10, black blade, super cool configuration. I love it. S30V steel. The real selling point, though, of the Manix is the glassy smooth action with this ball bearing lock. That's awesome. This little slider here releases the lock, and then the blade just glides closed. And I mean really glides. Not just open, but closed too. The ergonomics on this one are incredible. An ample choil plus this aggressive jimping here provides a nice forward choked up grip. And there's a deep groove in the middle of the handle for the middle finger. So all in all, this is one of the most secure grips I have ever felt on a knife. And that's not even considering how awesome Spyderco G10 feels, which I'm a huge fan of. There's a reason these are so popular, and as soon as you play with one, you immediately understand. I mean, look at that. It is so clean feeling. There we go. Awesome knife. This one sells a hair over 200 bucks on the site. Number 2 is one of the greatest Spydercos of all time, the Delica. There's so many colors, blade shapes, styles. There's literally one for everybody and then some, and it's just one of those quintessential pocket knives that has kind of stood the test of time and always ends up as a choice you can't really go wrong with, ever. You have FRN scales here with a sturdy back lock and K390 steel. And it's a carry that, again, you can't do much wrong with it. And yes, I grabbed a Wharncliffe version here because there's not enough love for Wharncliffe blades. I mean, there is, but really, don't think the Wharncliffe here takes anything away from this knife. I'd also like to comment that the Delica to date is the sharpest out-of-the-box knife I've ever encountered. It is literally the most impressive factory edge I've ever seen, consistently on all of them. Let me know if you disagree, or maybe if you found a factory edge that totally blew your socks off, or cut your socks off. I don't know. This one goes for $123.20 on the site, but again, there's such a variety on the... I could probably make a video longer than this one just on the Delica itself. Number one, it just had to be this knife, didn't it? And if you don't know what it is yet, maybe you'll learn something today. So this is not only the best Spyderco knife ever made, but it is one of the best knives ever made, period. The Paramilitary 2. There's a ton of configurations for this also. That seems to be a trend with Spyderco, doesn't it? Which is awesome. It's been in production for 12 years now, and if you don't have one, you should probably get one. Ergonomics are a complete 10 out of 10. This knife feels like it was just made for a hand, which sounds weird, but I don't know how else to explain it. You just pick this knife up and you're like, oh yeah, that's what it's supposed to feel like. Possible unpopular opinion here, but with the carry clip set to tip down, which is how these come out of the box, by the way, but you can configure it if you want. I think it feels better than tip up in the hand. It's like, it adds more to hold at the top of the handle here. Blade shape is perfect. It can pierce and slice amazingly and is laser beam sharp. The action is incredible. I mean, look at this. Easy one-hand operation. Smooth as butter. It's just quality. This specific configuration has CPM crewwear steel, which is very popular, but there are many steels used on these models. We have a CPM S110V version right now, some S45VN, and in the past there have been many other iterations of this knife that show up occasionally. For us, these have been a bit of a unicorn for a while because they weren't producing any as far as I know. We just didn't see them. But we have a decent few right now, and it's a pretty good time to grab them, or one if you don't have any, or if you want to get your first one or whatever. This configuration with the micarta and satin blade and all the accented like hardware looks so nice to me. I love this knife. This one right here. This one right here I want. So anyway, the machining and tolerances on this knife are top notch, and you will know as soon as you handle one. Spyderco rarely lacks in this department, even on their more affordable knives, but this is just a different beast entirely. Blade centering is perfect, and I mean the blade doesn't move anywhere it's not supposed to, and it locks up nicely. The clip can be configured however you want, and there are a variety of aftermarket choices if you prefer a deep carry option. But the stock clip is actually very nice, and pockets easily and securely. And as far as appearances go, the PM2 is straight to the point function without any unnecessary flair or redundant features, and still manages to look really awesome. If you can't tell by now, I really love the PM2, and I'm really happy that we have some more to play with at Knife Hub. Check out the store, and I'll put links in the description for everything on this list. Like and subscribe. You know it helps us so much. Thanks for watching, guys.